Assalamu alaikum. Hello student. How are you? I am well by the blessed of Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Today I will describe an article about George Bernard Shaw, The Arms and the Man. This article is about the play by George Bernard Shaw for other use. Arms and the Man is a comedy by George Bernard Shaw, whose title comes from the opening word of the Virgil's Aeneid in the Latin Arama. The play was first produced on 21 April 1894 at the Avenue Theatre and published in 1898 as part of Shaw Plays Alone, which also include Canada, You Never Can Tell, and The Man of the Destiny. Arms and Man was one of the show's first commercial success. He was called into stage after the curtain, where he received enthusiastic applause amidst the test. One audience member applauded. Shaw replied in the characteristic fashion might it follow. I quite agree with you, but where are two against too many? There are 7 kinds of content in this Arms and the Man. Plot summary, critical reception, subsequent production, the police, pre-British military's use of the terms, reference, external links. Plot summary. The play takes place during the 1885 Serbo-Bulgarian War. Its heroine, Raina Pitekok, is a young Bulgarian woman engages to Sergeant Stranov, one of the heroes of that war, whom she idolizes on the night after the Battle of Salivergenia. Swiss military soldiers in the Serbian army. Captain Bortseals claims in the thought her bedroom, balcony, windows, and 3 tons of shoot Raina. If she gives the alarms when Russian and Bulgarian troops burst into source the house for him. Raina hides him so that he wasn't be killed. He asked her to remember that 9 soldiers out of 10 are born fools. In a conversation after the soldiers have left, Bortseals' pragmatic and cynical attitude toward war, soldering the shocks the automatic. Raina, especially after the admit that the use of his ammunition purpose to carry attitude towards war and soldiering shock. The automatic Raina especially after that meet that he used his ammunition possessed to create Clositis rather than the guidance for the pious. When the chaos dies down, Raina and her mother Cetrina sings Vursail's out of the house, disguised in the Raina's father's old coat. The year end, and the Bulgarian and the Slovenian sign a peace treaty. Raina's fathers, Major Paul Pitok and Sergeians both return home. Raina begins to find Sergeians both foolhardy and tiresome, but she hides it. Sergius also finds Raina's romantic ideas tiresome and farts with Raina's innocent servant girl Livka, who is engaged to Nicola the Peacock manservant. Woodsell unexpectedly returned so that he can give back the old coat, but also so that he can see Raina. Raina, her characteristics and shocked, especially when Major Peter and Sergeant can give back the old coat, but also so that he can see Raina. Left alone with the boat sails, Raina realizes that she thought her romantic story, but that the respect her as a woman, Sarjas does not. She reveals that she left a photograph of herself in the pocket of the coat. Subscribe to my chocolate cream soldier, but British says that he didn't find it and that it must still be in the coat pocket. Woodsales gets a telegram informing him of his father that he must now take over the family business, several luxury holders in Switzerland. Local tales suggest that Raina protected Woodsales when he burst into her room and that Raina really in love with him. Sergius challenged Woodsale to duel, but Woodsale avoided fighting Sergius and Raina back of the engagement. With some relief of the both sides, Major Peacock discovered the photograph in the pocket of his old coat. Raina and Woodsale tried to remove it before he find it again. But Peacock is determined to learn the truth and claim that the chocolate cream soldiers sergeants after Woodsale reveals the whole story of Major Peacock. Sergius purport marries to Lika. Nicola quietly and generally lets Sergius have her and Woodsales, while Raina is now unattacked. Woodsale protects that Being 34 and believing she is 7, she is too old for her. On learning that she is actually the 23, they immediately proposed marriage and proved his wealth and position by listening his inheritance from this telegram. Ryan Ryan realizing the tolerance of romantic ideals, protested that she would prefer her poor chocolate cream soldier to his wealthy businessman. Brussels says that he is still the same person, and the play ends with Raina proclaiming her love for him and Brussels with the Swiss physicians both clearing up the major throat movement problem and informing everyone that he will return to be married to Raina exactly 2 weeks from that day. This story or this literature written by Bernard Shaw. In the wartime, he were hide in her bedroom and she saved her life. For this reason, he loved him. As a result, after the war, he would like to marry her. Critical reception. George Orwell said that Arms and the Man was written when Shaw was the height of his power as promised. It is probably the greatest play he ever wrote, the most flawless technically, and is inspired of being a very light comedy. The most telling Orwell says that Arms and the Man wears well. He was written 50 years later because it's moral that war is not wonderful romantic adventure. It still needs to be told is other plays of the period. Equally well written are about issue no longer controversial, for example the theme of Mr. Warren's, which so shocked audience at the time, was that the cause of prostitution are mainly economic, hardly big news today, and the play Wonder's House was an attack on the Salem landlords who are now held in such low esteem that matter is hardly controversial. This is a literature which is very interesting. After retaining this literature or after publishing this literature, he will become he was reached a great position for his literature, and still now it is a great literature for English literature. And for this reason, it's become a great literature for English literature. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Hello? Number 17 student, do you have any questions? Do you have any question about critical reception from the literature? Oh yeah, George Bernard Shaw is a great literaturist who had written this literature. Yeah, yeah. Oh, here. This is the first Broadway production opened on 17 September 1894 at the New York City. Do you hear me? The first Broadway production opened on 17 September 1894. Okay. Do you have other questions? Yeah. The most prestigious London revival was directed by the John Bruel for the Old Vic Company at this, which opened on 5 September. Okay.